going to paraphrase Nintendo's Bill Trinen. I think he's gone on the record to say something like this: Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask is a game that Zelda fans love or fear. Marissa and I are reviewing it right now for the new 3DS. What do you think of this game?
They've heard wonderful things about it, so I'm expecting some greatness here. And when I jump into it, that first task where you have to find all the children, and oh my god, they're hiding everywhere, but you only have 3 days to do it. That was so frustrating, Victor Lucas. I can't even tell you how many days passed and how many times I had to redo the whole mission because I couldn't find all the children to get their stupid code.
Yeah, this is definitely a black sheep Zelda game. I think it's an acquired taste Zelda game. You have to have a lot of patience for it. It's also like playing a Rubik's Cube with oven mitts on in some ways because it's a little obtuse and there's so much pressure. There always is a lot of pressure in the Zelda games because they're so intricately designed and there's so many different areas to explore and things to uncover. But when you factor in this idea of time passing and this giant moon about to crush Termina, it just feels depressing and so stressful, and that stress never alleviates, although what kind of starts to happen is you are rewarded, obviously, with lots of new powers and new masks and new abilities that you are able to retain every time you restart those 3 days.
That's true, but those are things that you constantly have to juggle. You need to have amazing time management skills because you need to navigate throughout the 3-day cycle, and it's really difficult to do that, especially when you have to talk to certain characters that you meet at certain points of the day within those 3 days. So yes, I'm making it sound really confusing, but it's really confusing for me to have to navigate through all that, and it actually gives me a lot of anxiety while playing.
You do feel, because of this Groundhog Day mechanic, that Nintendo is kind of, stretching the game design a little bit. The game came, fairly soon on the heels after Ocarina of Time for the Nintendo 64, an unabashed classic, and it didn't feel like it had the scope and ever-present sort of sense of discovery that game did.
Yeah.
What you do find in here is a really cohesive and intricate level design, especially when you go into the temples and you start to unlock some of these extra special masks like the Goron mask or the Zora mask, and you're able to roll super fast or swim in the water.
It's true, and then unlocking all those different tunes to play on the Ocarina. I mean, this game has a lot in it.
Yes.
There are some shining moments in this game, absolutely. This is not my kind of Zelda.
And it is a bit of a dark game, too. It just feels really dark compared to the rest of the Zelda games. The thing that I really experienced and appreciated this time as well, especially coming off of the last overhead 2D Zelda game, is that the 3D in the Zelda experiences hasn't necessarily made the Zelda games more fun to play, especially coming off of A Link Between Two Worlds.
Right.
I feel like sometimes the mechanics are done a little disservice when you're fumbling around with the camera, and the camera is still an issue in this game today, even with the better C-stick controls that are on the new 3DS.
Yes, but the C-stick does help immensely. So I was so thankful for that. What are you scoring The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask?
It's still phenomenal game design. It's still an incredible experience, especially compared to every other adventure and RPG type title out there. 9.5 from me.
Okay, it's getting a 7 for me.
Okay.